Hey friends! I just discovered my new favorite yoga accessory, Yoga Knees. This product really saved my knees. Yoga Knees help solve the problem of those times in class when we kneel on hard surfaces like your yoga mat. Now your knees can also be pain-free with Yoga Knees. They are super comfortable and made with durable material. Yoga Knees is a high-quality, built-to-last product. They are a woman-owned business manufactured by women and made in the USA. When you buy a pair of Yoga Knees, $1 of the proceeds goes towards St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Yoga Knees is giving you all 10% off your first order. Go to yogaknees.com, that's spelled YOGAKNEES.com, and use promo code YOGAAND at checkout. The link is in the show notes. 30-day money-back guarantee. Remember to use promo code YOGAAND to get 10% off. Welcome, friends, to the Yoga and Podcast. This show brings the magic of mind-body practices down to earth for the everyday real person to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Ashley Weber, a mind-body teacher and forever student who is oh so curious about all things yoga and. On today's episode, we will explore all about the art of yoga and photography. We will sit down and chat with registered nurse, yoga teacher, retreat leader, and professional photographer, Megan Fine. She is also the owner and operator of Free Flow Photography. Megan will share with us all about her personal manifestation practices, and yes, they work. Also her journey as a professional photographer. Here's all about yoga and photography coming up. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode, y'all. Joining us on today's episode is registered nurse, yoga teacher, retreat leader, and photographer of Free Flow Photography, and my friend, Megan Fine. Hey, Megan, how are you today?
Hey, so good to see you. I'm doing great. I'm just so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Yeah, and it's been too long since I've spoken with you, and it's so good to reconnect this way. How's your morning been? How are things this morning?
Yeah, good. I'm actually stepping into a new type of movement, and I've been doing some weight training. So I did that this morning and got it done and ready. First thing, that makes it so much easier because then it's already done and I don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. So that was a great way to start. And then just been taking it easy, work tonight. So it's always intention to just like take it slow throughout the day on the nights I work. Yeah.
I like that. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit more and tell us who you are and what you're about in the world of yoga?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a 200-hour YTT Baptiste trained. And then I have a 300-hour Anna Forrest training that I did. I've done 2 meditation teacher trainings. And so that kind of puts together all of like my trainings. I would say like who I am in the yoga world is just somebody who's really wanting to create a safe space for people to find their own magic, their own healing, in all of the avenues that I explore with people. That's usually the main goal is like for that person, for you to be able to find your own power, your own healing, your own inner wisdom. So that's kind of who I am in the yoga world.
And then you also do that through your photography business. You
Absolutely.
specialize in tell us more. Tell us more about Free Flow Photography.
Yeah, so free flow photography was something that my best friend actually helped me develop. She like basically saw that I was really wanting to create more organization and intention behind it. And so she sat down, she's like, okay, let's do a vision board. Like, who is it that you really want to take photos of? And let me see, I might even have my vision board somewhere. I have it somewhere and I could probably pull it out. But on my vision board, actually, let me go grab it. I think I have it
Yeah,
over here.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is my original free flow photography vision board. It's really hard to see on the camera. But this was
this will be audio anyway. So
okay.
so just so y'all know what I'm seeing, I see one of those poster boards and then the name of Free Flow Photography in a bubble in the middle, and then there's 4 other bubbles that are out from that, or 5.
Yes. Yeah, and so on there I was like, so who is it that I wanted to do photos for? Mm-hmm. And yoga people were on here, visionaries, entrepreneurs, shy people.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and small business owners and travelers. So those were like the people that I really wanted to create with. You know, like I think a lot of people in the photo world, they're like, oh man, like I can make so much money doing weddings, and you can. And that's just not what I really was about. I really wanted to like grow with people. And I wanted the photos to show that, like business owners that are starting out and maybe had never had photos done, or really just wanted photos to represent like their brand. Like that's what really gets me fired up, is like seeing people like get the photos and then seeing them grow and get more clients and to get more action on their social media pages. That all felt really needed right now, especially like accessibility. A lot of people charge a lot of money for photos. And so I wanted it to be accessible to people who were just starting out, who maybe didn't have $10,000 budget to do marketing for. It's like you're doing it from your phone yourself. And it's like, how can we get you more promotion? Because honestly, it's so important now. I'm sure that you've seen it, like to have the professional look of photos and video and stuff like that. It shows people that you're serious about your work, that this is legitimate business, that this is something that is like top of heart, top of mind, I think.
Well, and as a business owner online, if you don't have professional photos of your business, whatever business, I mean, that's a tick against your business, right? So it is like essential nowadays, entrepreneurs. And I love that you bring up the shy thing, because yes, that is an unaddressed thing that I don't think photographers really think about, and you thought of it. And I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in most of society, and even like my viewpoint, because I'm not really a shy person. I could kind of like make friends with a doormat and we could have a chat for like 5 hours. You know what I mean?
I would love to see that, actually.
It's like, it's just like, that's not really where my brain goes. But like one of the biggest lessons for me throughout this journey has been, because my partner, he is very, very, very shy and has social anxiety. And it has been such a gift to like just understand that more and be compassionate towards it, because I felt like in my photography I was already doing that, but in my personal life I didn't realize like how prevalent it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it gives people the opportunity to see a different side of themselves. Like people label from a very young age, like, I have social anxiety and I'm shy. But really, it's like just developing more and more of that comfortability. And so when people see themselves behind the camera, they're like, oh man, I really liked that picture. It's like such a gratifying feeling.
Well, and I just want to refer back to our time together because I have worked with you. You've taken photos of me for my yoga. And post pandemic, I was not feeling like my best version of myself, like I think I barely got a haircut and, you always, gained 15 pounds and all the stuff that wasn't feeling great, but I needed to get back out there. I needed to get my photos done. And my friend Fonzie, we know Fonzie, recommended you. And I didn't realize just how shy and timid I felt, vulnerable getting my picture taken until I set the appointment and I'm like, oh, here goes nothing. But then you made it so easy. You really put me at ease. I think our first session, I think you could tell I was very nervous, but then you calm me down with your, the yoga and meditation part of you, very calming. And then each session from there, I think got much easier. So yeah, you address that. I think you do well at putting people at ease because it is so vulnerable. Especially now with, the pandemic, I feel like people are just now getting back to moving in the direction of like how they, self-care.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I won't talk about this too much on here, but like the nursing portion, like we're seeing huge upticks in mental health stuff and all different levels, right? It can look like so many different things, including things manifesting physically, like when you're under stress and when you're feeling kind of crummy, like it can look like abdominal pain, it can look like headaches, it can look like depression, it can look like anxiety, it can look like chest pain from anxiety, it can look like so many different things. And when we're meeting one-on-one for photos, it's like we're only getting a very short period of time together to explore like what's going on. And so I think it's just important to note that so many people are suffering and experiencing different levels of this stress, of this anxiety post-pandemic, and just to be really like soft to it, like being really nurturing to that and each other, because you just never know what people are going through, truly.
Let's talk more about how did all this happen? Which came first, yoga or photography? How'd you get into yoga? How'd you get into photography?
Okay, so I started doing, like when I first started college to do the nursing thing, I was just doing like part-time, getting all my prerequisites. And I took a bunch of art classes as my electives. And I also took a yoga class. I was taking art classes and a yoga class for my electives because you had to do like a, some sort of movement type class at ACC. And so I didn't even realize that until just now, but I started them at the same time, really. And so I was drawing portraits and I was doing this yoga. My yoga teacher from that class was so hilarious. She cracked me up. She was just a great introduction to yoga. And once I started nursing school, I did not have the time to do any drawing like out for hours on end, but I had invested in the used camera, which I think if you're somebody looking for photography to start getting into it, I would purchase a used one just to see if you like it. So I did that. And I just started taking pictures in my off time. And once I finished nursing school, I worked a lot. I worked overtime every week for like a year and I got so burnt out. And I was looking for something to kind of just supplement away from feeling like I needed to work all the time. And so I started taking photos, like branding photos for my best friend, who she was at the time working at a retreat center in Marble Falls. So I was kind of like getting back into the yoga, and I went through like a very sudden traumatic breakup after I finished nursing school, after that first year. And so we moved in together, and like the photos really started happening more then. And then we took this trip to Big Bend, in it was January of 2020. So right before the pandemic. So I'd been doing yoga more. I've been taking photos, and then I did this hike. And I just remember during the hike, I was like, I know that I want to teach yoga. I want to teach yoga to my peers, to nurses, and I want them to get some of this relaxation, this magic that doesn't involve like drinking or doing drugs or whatever on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so I signed up for my teacher training the next week, and I was in teacher training the next month. And
Wow.
so we were about halfway through our teacher training, and the pandemic happened.
Oh God.
So yeah, I just we finished, and then I went straight into the other trainings. So it was kind of cool. It was like at home, that's all I did. I was just like immersed in yoga stuff, and I was teaching like on Zoom to my friends. And after like probably the first 8 months of the pandemic, I led my first retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And it like completely sold out, and it was just like, okay, like I know that there is something to this.
Yeah.
And then a year later, I did my first photography / yoga retreat internationally with one of my best friends' companies, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, it's just been everything is integrating together, which is really
Beautiful.
cool.
Well, and it sounds like your trip to Big Bend really just like there was this inner knowing that just solidified, and then it all kind of, like you said, integrated. What makes a good yoga photo?
So what makes a really good yoga photo is your personality coming through. And everyone's is so unique. Like my best friend, she does this beautiful, like serious face with her lip just slightly open, and her eyes are like almost halfway shut, and she just looks like completely relaxed, but also super powerful. So like that's her style. Like your style is like a beautiful smile. Like your smile is amazing, and every single time you just let that smile flow, like it's a great picture. So all you have to do is just smile, and like it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love the trick you taught me with photos, the laughing for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Laughing yoga. You get to practice it, and then it just comes out naturally.
Yeah. So let's talk about Free Flow Photography, the name of your business. How did you come up with the name? And I love that photography is spelled with an F.
Yes. So again, my bestie was essential to me realizing that I actually was capable of doing this stuff. So when we sat down and we did this, like, you saw the business web, the name was like the first thing to happen. And we were talking about, okay, well, like, what's like the essence of what you want to be photographing and how you want it to feel. And I really just wanted it to feel like free. I wanted people to feel freedom in themselves. And I also wanted it to be something that was just felt easy, that it just kind of happened, and it wasn't like it had to be this certain way and all this pressure and all the, like some photographers is like, has to be this one shot right here because that's their vision, when really like my vision is secondary to your vision. So to me, it really needed to be something that encapsulated that freedom and that ease. And I love a good alliteration. I don't know about you, but this girl loves
Yeah.
alliterations.
Yeah.
And so we did the free flow photography, but it just didn't feel right with the pH.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn Spanish. I grew up in Texas my whole life. There's a lot of Spanish influence, I feel like, living in Texas. And I really try to embrace that, even though yo hablo poquito español, okay? But I really love the culture. I love the whole, I like part of it being in like my growing up. And so I was like, why not just use the F?
Yeah, I love it.
I think that people can, relate to it, and it makes it like more seamless, like F3. It's like you get the whole thing, and it's going to have a little flavor. It's going to have a little spice to it.
Well, can I share a little spicy moment, a little flavor that we had in one of our photo shoots?
Oh yeah.
So I felt like free flow, like you really like spoke to the name. We were at a coffee shop, which I won't name which coffee shop in Austin, but do you remember that they wanted us to charge us for taking photos? And we just kind of like free flowed around that. Like we just kind of like made it work, and we were just hanging out drinking coffee. And then, there was a couple pictures here and there, and then we move over, and we just like adapted, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is like when I hear free flow, you adapted in action, like you made it work, even though there was like, a variable, an unknown variable that we didn't know about until we got there. Which I really appreciated, because I feel like maybe other photographers might have been like, oh, well, let's go somewhere else and or let's reschedule, but you made it work, and the pictures came out beautifully.
Yeah. That is one of my favorite moments photographing, because technically they said charging inside.
Oh, okay.
But they like made it seem like if we were taking photos outside that it was going to be an issue. But
exactly,
you can't even tell where we are in the pictures, and they turned out really beautiful.
Out really beautifully. But like, people, they should be lucky that you want to take pictures in that space. I think that's what, and that's like, that's a new Austin thing. The old Austin wouldn't have cared,
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up here my whole life, and it was, you never had to pay to park downtown. You never had to pay to go to Zilker Park. You never had to pay any time you went downtown. And so it's just interesting to me to see that dynamic with people coming in. They're like, oh yeah, I can make a few bucks here, I'm just going to do it. And really it's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like, this is a small business, like,
yeah,
business, you're a small business, like, anyway, I could talk all day about it, but let's get back to you. And hey friends, let me tell you about my favorite herbal store, Earth Commons. It's more than an herb shop. They also offer gifts, body care, massage, yoga therapy classes, and more. I highly recommend their mystery herb class. I have learned so much about herbs from this class. One of my favorite things to get at Earth Commons is their bulk medicinal herbs. I like to make it into a tea, and actually right now I'm drinking lemongrass and nettle tea, and it is so delicious. Their herbal tinctures are fantastic. I use them to help with easing tension, anxiety, allergies, and even a sore throat. It's also the perfect place to find gifts for those who are challenging to shop for. They have candles, incense, natural makeup, teas, jewelry, pottery. You name it, they got it. For a limited time, Earth Commons is giving our listeners, that's you guys, 10% off your first order when you use the promo code YOGAAND at checkout. You can find them if you're in the Austin area at 813 Springdale Road, or visit them online at earth-commons.com. It's spelled EARTH arth-commons.com. I'll link all their info in the show notes, so you're just one click away. And remember to use promo code YOGAAND to get 10% off your next order. It can be overwhelming to know how to help others during these trying times. It seems like every day there's a new disaster catching our attention, and it's hard to keep up and know how to help. The Ukraine still needs our support. The war in the Ukraine has continued, and if you are able, please consider donating to the organization Razom. Razom is providing critical humanitarian war relief and recovery to address the Ukraine's most urgent needs. To support Razom, go to razomfortheukraine.org. It's spelled RAZOMFORUKRAINE.org. I have provided the link in the show notes. Give what you can. We all have a voice and something important to share with the world. Now it's easier, more than ever, to make a podcast of your very own and to amplify your voice thanks to Anchor by Spotify. I have been using this platform for going on 3 years now, and I can confidently say it is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need right at your fingertips. Here's how it works. Anchor lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating right now, as in like today. With a single push of a button, you can distribute your podcast to the most popular listening platforms, including Spotify. Anchor is also the only place you can publish video podcasts to Spotify. With Anchor, creators can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Yes, you heard it correctly. Anchor is free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I cannot wait to hear your podcast. And we're back. What mind-body practices do you use to help manifest your dream opportunities?
Okay. I love this question because I think that having a practice for developing manifestations is absolutely necessary. If you want to be a yoga teacher, if you want to start a small business, if you want to do photography, whatever it is, it's imperative. It's completely changed my life. And I think that there's just so much that we still have yet to learn about meditation and breath work and what that does to the body and the mind in relation to our surroundings. Mm-hmm. And so those are the two big tools that I use is breath work and meditation, as far as manifesting dream opportunities. And just like we use yoga as a way to move energy through our body to create more space for our inner being to reside, it's just the same when we do the breath work. You're moving energy, you're oxygenating your body, you're putting yourself in kind of like this uncomfortable state so that you can achieve more space for your mind, for the vision, for everything to kind of come together with clarity. So two breath work / meditations that I really like to work with is Tony Robbins. He has I think it's called a vision meditation where you do like some priming. You do a Tony Robbins priming. So you're like moving your arms kind of wild and you're breathing with your arms. And then I think that's what it's called, Tony Robbins priming. And he takes you through this meditation of like just relaxing your body and visualizing what it is that you want to create. And I love that one. I actually used that when I was trying to manifest one of my nursing jobs. It worked really well.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I also love to do Wim Hof. He has a 10-minute beginner's breathwork video that I use, and I still use that depending on the week daily, but definitely weekly. I use that.
Wow.
But if I'm really heavily processing something, I will do it daily, because it just is the only thing that I have really experienced that gets me out of my head in such a profound way. Like I get clarity on things so easily. And then I will do, like, if I did the Wim Hof breath work, I will guide myself through a vision meditation of just visualizing what it is I want to create. Because the thing with manifestation is, what I have found to be the most powerful creating in manifestation is just focusing on the vision, the final vision, and
Mm.
letting go of how it's going to happen.
Mm.
Because we put so many limitations on ourselves by the how it's going to happen. And it kind of cuts us off. And Abraham Hicks talks about this. It cuts us off from the possibilities that we may not even be able to fathom happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I knew, okay, I'll give you an example. So I knew that I needed to create a certain amount of money to like pay off some of my credit cards and to pay for this wedding that I have coming up. And I knew that I wanted to try to find a travel nurse assignment, but something that was local. I didn't really want to go too far away, blah, 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 all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the perfect opportunity came. And I just let go of like needing it to be any look a certain kind of way. And I said no to an opportunity that didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And this opportunity came right after that. And it was like the perfect amount of money. It was like the perfect, I mean, it's night shift. So that wasn't ideal, but in some ways it has been ideal. But yeah, so it's like I let go of how it was going to happen, and it just happened the way that it was supposed to happen, and I didn't have to worry about how it was going to happen.
I love that. And so it sounds like when our mind gets in the way of the how, it's like a self-limiting belief, and it cuts, like you said, it like cuts off that potential for the big picture, the end result. Do you have links to the Tony Robbins and the breath work you mentioned? Could we put that in the show
Absolutely.
notes? Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they're really powerful tools. I still use them all the time. So I'd love to share that with you guys. And
Yeah.
everything's free, it's online. And yeah, they've been so helpful to me and my friends. And yeah, I would love to be able to share that with people, because and that's another thing with the breath work, is like it helps me get out of the how. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that as much.
Out of the mental space of it all, and you can like go by feeling. Like you mentioned, you had an opportunity, it didn't feel right, you told it no, and then something better came in. That's something I'm learning in my own life. I'm trying to trust that more, and not like grasp something that doesn't quite feel like a good fit, but like let it go if it.
So one of my mentors, her name is Albina Rippey. She says this saying, like when she's trying to create something, she'll say this or something better. This or something better. So when she's trying to manifest this or something better, which is really cool, because I think that it creates that possibility again of like not needing it to look any kind of way. It just is.
I love that. This or something better. I think that is a great thing to remember. Would you like to share with us some of the high points of your photography and yoga career?
Yes, I would love to. So, two of the biggest high points of my career in photography and yoga has been, the first one was doing my first international retreat for photography and yoga last year. It was in Belize, and it was just like this magical experience. I got to do video, like we got to do photos. People signed up with me to do mini sessions while we were there.
Cool.
And the photos were beautiful. I mean, they were just like awesome and everybody loved them. I got to take pictures of two of my best friends because they were partners, a man and woman, and they're just like so fun. And it was like, just, it was cool to be compensated in so many different ways. Like when you talk about abundance being more than money, like that is what that felt like. It was like I was traveling doing something that I absolutely loved. Like I was surrounded by all of my best friends. Like we were having the time of our lives adventuring in Belize, and it was like just, it was perfect, you know. And I just, there's not much more you can get out of a single experience than that felt like to me. So that one was a really big deal. And it's also opened the path of this happening more and more. So like I have 3 international retreats that I'm doing this year.
Oh my God, that's so
Yeah.
exciting.
Yes. So it's just like opened up the door for so much more to happen. And
Well,
then,
and you just
oh, go
kind of
ahead.
started. Well, you just kind of started this career. You haven't, it's not like you've been in it for 10 years and now this, I mean, this has just begun, right? I mean, I'm excited to see like a decade from now, like where you'll be.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, that's, I'm glad that you said that, because I think for a lot of people, including myself, it's always like, what more could I be doing? Or like, why haven't I created this? Or, you know, there's always like some, like another like level to what we're doing. And it's nice to just be reminded, like, yeah, I've done some pretty epic stuff for just starting out. And like, I really would love to spend more time. And I try to as much as I can, but it's nice to kind of hear it from somebody else, just like being in the gratitude of what's already been created, which is really cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And then you mentioned you had another highlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was, it actually just happened 2 weeks ago. I got to photograph a retreat for Anna Forrest, the Anna Forrest and
Yeah.
Jose Calarco. Yeah. I mean, it was just magical. So I did the teacher training for them through one of their ambassadors last year, like during the pandemic. And so I had already kind of known the practice, but there's not much forest yoga in Austin. So I hadn't really been on the height of my forest yoga. And so just going there and meeting her and meeting Jose and being a part of what they create was so special. They have something completely unique to them, and their practice, the forest yoga practice, is so healing. It's so challenging in certain ways, but I've had some major yoga breakthroughs and that felt so good.
That's so
And
awesome.
you know, and now they get to use those photos. Like they have photos that they can use whenever they want, and they're, you know, thankful for it. And it opened up the opportunity. I'm photographing for them when they come in July
Oh my
to Austin.
God.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So what advice do you have for aspiring yoga photographers or even yoga models?
Yes. So I think it's so important to have different avenues of income, especially as a yoga teacher or event facilitator, because it takes the pressure off of needing to do something for the money. When you have different sources of income, right? It's like then you are able to create more from a place of authenticity and what's best for your client versus just getting a job done because you need it done. So if you're wanting to be a yoga photographer, like really doing like, you know, your vision board, like I did, it's like really understanding what it is you want to create and what that looks like, because it pays off your whole entire career. Like I said, I still have my vision board that I made 3 years ago because I like to be reminded of, you know, where I started from and how far I've come, and staying true to the values of, you know, like why I'm doing this and who I really want to work with. So yeah, for yoga photographers, just yeah, creating something where you can make another form of income. And it also puts you in contact with other studios, like I work with other studios, not as a yoga teacher, but more as a photographer. And that's really cool too, because I get to see other events. I get to intermingle with other students in a different way. And that's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And then for models, I think that the biggest advice I could give is to just be yourself and to do, and if you need a practice before taking photos where you ground yourself first, maybe even do some power posing, for a couple of minutes before you go, do the Wonder Woman with your lasso of truth, or whatever it is, whatever that looks like, really embodying yourself and your confidence, because it always shows when you put in that extra time and energy to the photos. It's like, and really in any event, in any capacity, that, like you said before we got on the call, it's like, doing something to help ground you and so that you can make it the best experience possible. Meditation, breath work, working out, whatever that looks like, so that you're fully embodying your authentic self, because that is what people want. That is what will get you people that are like lifelong yoga people that come to you. It's you. It's not looking a certain way. It's not doing something somebody else has done. It's just fully, completely loving, seeing, and knowing yourself as much as possible for that moment in time.
That's great advice. Do you want to play a little game?
Yeah. I will try.
Okay. There's no prize at the end or anything, but it's called Rapid Fire, and I will ask you questions rapidly, quickly, and you'll answer as quickly as you can, usually like a one-word answer about your favorite things. So you ready to play?
Yes.
What is your favorite yoga pose?
Lizard lounge.
Lizard lounge?
Yeah.
Like lizard pose?
No, lizard lounge. This is a yoga, Anna Forrest yoga pose, but you start, so to get into it, you're in lizard, and then you kind of heel toe your foot. So say we're doing it on the right hand side, you'd heel toe your foot to the right hand side to where your toes are pointed towards the right. Your left hand comes up about 6 inches, and then you're like leaning onto your hip on the left side. You want me to show you real quick?
No, I think you described it well, but lizard lounge, I never knew that. I never knew that was a pose.
Yeah, it gets all into this left side body, and it's like a relaxing pose. So you're like on your arm and you just kind of just relax, and you're hanging onto your right knee. But yeah.
Wow, lizard lounge. Learn something new every day. Love it. What is your favorite book?
Oh, The Alchemist.
Oh, what is your favorite restaurant? And it could be anywhere.
Oh my gosh, it's this place that I just went to a couple weeks ago. It's called Mila. It's in Miami. It was my first time going to Miami, but they had the best food I've ever had in my life. It was so good.
Mila in Miami. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Favorite yoga prop?
Ooh. I love a block. I love a good block.
Cork or foam?
Cork.
Cork. Yeah, you got to do good cork. Who is your favorite yoga teacher?
My favorite yoga teacher is a teacher that used to work at Lifetime Fitness, and she was just such a ball of light and was influential to me wanting to teach yoga, because she made it enjoyable and fun and challenging, and I loved that. And so if you're listening right now, you know who you are, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
I love it. What is your favorite TV show or movie right now?
Favorite TV show? Okay, I don't really watch very much TV or movies, but I've been loving Stranger Things. That's one of my favorites. And I don't usually like creepy or scary. Like I normally will not watch anything like that. But I love the storyline, and I love that it feels like almost like that is the institution of darkness, what they are fighting, what these kids are fighting, because, you know, kids are closest to divine energy, that they have this ability to transmute and recreate energy in such a easy way. But it's just really cool to see kids empowering that, like being empowered by their own strength and resilience against this dark thing, because I think it's happening on a subconscious level right now. The darkness of what everybody's been going through with COVID and healthcare and just life stuff and loss, and, you know, and just remembering, like, we all, one, have that inner child within us that can transmute energy in such a beautiful way. And I love seeing it on TV that the kids are doing it.
I've never thought of it that way. That is a great way to look at it. Final question. What is your favorite baby animal?
Oh my gosh. Favorite baby animal? Okay, it's horses. I love a little baby horse. They're just awesome.
They're so awkward and skinny. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, where can we find you out in the world, Megan?
Well, Free Flow Photography, spelled with an F, on Facebook, also on Instagram. I have a website as well if you want to talk more about bookings. Also, if you ever want to book, freeflowphotography@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to create with you. And yeah, and hopefully just anywhere. Let's meet up. Let's hang out.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. All that info will be linked down in the show notes, so you're just one click away from connecting with Megan. Megan, thank you so much for being on the show. I loved having you, and I hope to have you back on again soon.
Oh, thanks. It's so good to see you. And I love like being able to intermingle with your people. Like they just are, you know, they just seem like awesome folks. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode all about yoga and photography with the knowledgeable Megan Fine. Be sure to connect with Megan. All of her info is in the show notes, so you're just one click away from connecting with her, and I highly recommend that you do. Let us know how you like the episode. We love hearing from you. Please email us at yogaandpodcast@gmail.com. The and is spelled out YOGAAND podcast@gmail. Please follow us on Instagram at yogaandpodcast. If you like the show, we would really appreciate it if you could rate and review. It's what helps us reach new listeners. And while you're at it, please rate and review all the other podcasts that you like too. This small act is priceless to podcasters. It can really show your support. And it takes like a minute. Also, I have some podcast stickers and love notes lying about. If you want, you can email us. Let us know that you reviewed the show. I'll send you some snail mail as a thank you. Theme song performed by Ali Holder. Graphics, guest booking, and marketing by Bentley and Chloe Productions. Thank you for listening.